Hello, hello. Happy Monday, September 29th, 2025. How was everyone today? Russell, Juicy, over on YouTube. Hello, hello. All right. Ellen, hello, Ellen. How are you? Hans, DRZ, Russell, Fruit Jelly. And yes, I happen to have on my Pen Addict 100 t-shirt today. Glenn, how you doing? Um, we're in the midst of Indian summer here, and it's like 50 degrees at night and 80 degrees during the day. So it's ridiculous. You're just gonna lurk today, Ruth. That's absolutely 100% fine. That is fine. Enjoy lurking. You had an online conference last week. I was attending and still training a new person. Well, I hope that's going well for you. Stuff we got to do, you know. Let's see. My hair is all kind of wackadoo this morning. Lisa and I had a date night on Saturday night, and I didn't realize until about Friday, maybe it was Thursday night, that this past weekend was Oktoberfest weekend in Appleton. And so that's all fine and well to do. Well, the restaurant that I wanted to take Lisa to, which of course I mentioned before was supposed to be a surprise, but ended up not being a surprise, is actually on College Avenue. Good afternoon, Vlad. And it's like right, I mean, like Oktoberfest is right there. It's literally right there. Which was going to make getting to the restaurant a challenge. Now, my reservations were at 6. They were stopping beverages at like 5, and at 5:30 they were supposed to be tearing down the beverage booths. But when we got there, it was a madhouse. It was absolutely insane. It was very weird because, you know, of course, we got dressed up to go out to eat at a nice restaurant. And, you know, there was not another single person who had a sport coat on. It was hilarious. And Lisa was in a beautiful dress. And anyway, I had the idea we're gonna go south and then come up from the south side to get to a parking ramp, which is literally across the street from the side street where the hotel is, where the restaurant's in. Well, they had a band playing there, so you can't get in that unless you're on a motorcycle. You can't get in that parking ramp, so that was a no-go. So we ended up having to walk. Did I test some beers? Well, that's another story. I wanted to. It wasn't in the cards. We ended up parking about 4 or 5 blocks down the street. I mean, it was far enough that I should have turned on my Strava to get credit for the walk. I mean, it was because I was going to have to go. I was originally going to go around and go north of College Avenue because there's another parking garage a few blocks away, and I thought, well, we'll do that. But I found a spot on the side of the street, so we got there. We got in, and this is like the nicest restaurant. It's probably the most famous restaurant in Appleton. You know, it's where you go when you have you have a celebration, or you've got an anniversary, or, you know, you've got good friends in from town and you really want a good steak. This is the place to go. And this will probably be, I sadly, I think this will have been my last time I will ever go there again. There were two tables there that actually bothered to dress up. And to my horror, they let everybody else in. So there were people in lederhosen, in ripped jean shorts, um, you know, dirty t-shirts. I mean, it was, it was not the evening it was supposed to be. And the service was so subpar for, I mean, it would have been fine for an Applebee's. I would have expected that kind of service at like an Applebee's or an Olive Garden or whatever. But I lost track at the end of the night how many times they didn't ask for upgrades and things. I mean, they probably lost at least $40 off the bill because they didn't, they didn't come back, and they don't have beer on tap, which just blows my mind. And I'll get over it because I don't think I'm going back. And I've been to this place a dozen, 20 times, maybe, there's no beer on tap. So their beer choice is like maybe 5, and one of them is like Bud Light or something like that. I'm just not going to go to I'm not going to go to a steakhouse and drink Bud Light. I'm not doing it. I realize there's somebody who will, but, didn't offer a refill on the beverages, even the Diet Coke that Lisa was having. Forget it. No coffee at the end. Yeah, barbarians were invading the civilized world. Yes. Yeah, it was something else. So we went about, we had our dinner, we had dessert, and yeah, I'll find somewhere else to go. It was just, it used to be you would get somebody who would come in and they were educated about the menu and the steaks, and they used to bring out a table, a tray full of all the different cuts of meat, and you could pick your cut of meat, and, I mean, it was really a cool experience. You'd have onion soup in an onion. I mean, it was really a great place to go. And it's now just, I mean, the steak was really good. It's really a good steak, but I can't justify it anymore. You got to give me the service along with the I need the sizzle along with the steak, as they say. So yeah, so no beer testing. And then of course by the time we were done, Oktoberfest was done, so we just went home and I had a beer at home. That was that was the extent of that. So 2, 3, 4. I'm missing a nib here somewhere. That's not a good sign. I have 5 pens and 4 nibs. Oh, I know where it is. Never mind. All right. Anyway, that's my rant. Don't have a. All right. Let's look at what I got on the bench today. How about that? I have given up. Well, not necessarily given up. I've been trying to get this vac unit unstuck for a month, and it's not coming loose. So we're going to replace the vac unit for this nice nice Goldfield Cat 51. We're going to put this guy back together. This guy has not come apart either, but I have another possible solution for this. Yeah, no beers on tap blows my mind. Yeah. There is literally a brew house. Actually, there are 2. I kid you not. There are 2 brew houses that make their own beer on site within 2 blocks of this restaurant. And this restaurant prides themselves, including on their website, it tells you all the local farms where they get their produce, where they get their beef. They get everything locally, which I think is a really cool thing, but they don't have at least 2 or 3. I mean, and so not only are there 2 breweries within 2 blocks, 3 at the most, there's also a quite famous a local brewery that's within a mile or so that definitely wholesales out to bars all over the place. Who has a really good lineup, Stone Cellar. Yeah, I don't get it. Don't get it. Don't get it. You're excited to get your Jay's coming in today? Awesome. The restaurant smells like food wine snobs. I don't know. You know, the only thing I can think of is that they're terrified that if they were to have some sort of actual dress code. Now, I'm not saying you got to have a tie and a coat. I I just, ripped jean shorts and lederhosen. I mean, I know it's Oktoberfest, but I don't, anyway. I got another trick for this. This thing will not open. This thing has been soaking in for a month. It just won't open. So I've got another trick that I'm going to try. The spring on this is definitely giving grief. So, and I can't. The blind cap doesn't even come off. If I could unscrew the blind cap, we could cut the tube. I know we've tried that before, right? Um, and maybe at least salvage something out of this mess. But as it stands, in fact, I was going to email the client today and tell him, listen, you need a new section with threads. You need a trim ring. You need a barrel. You need a blind cap. You need a blind cap screw. You need a touchdown tube. You need a sack protector and a sack protector bushing. I mean, it's $100 in parts, right? I mean, it's not worth the repair. I have another idea. Tomorrow we're going to try it. And actually, I'll probably start it before the stream so we can take a look. But vinegar is a very effective rust repellent, I guess you might want to say. And I have seen vinegar chew through rusty snorkel springs like no tomorrow. If we can get the spring to completely just be eaten up, we might be able to get this unstuck. Your CP package should arrive this week. Right now it's in USPS limbo. Oh no. Yeah, my package from you is coming tomorrow, and I'm terribly excited. So tomorrow we'll have a good stream because I've got at least one pen of mine that we're going to work on. The barrel, blind cap, and section are the most difficult parts to source. It's worth trying a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, and I have the parts, but there's no way the client's going to say, okay, well, let's just go ahead. And then you got it. Then you have O-ring, point holder gasket, new sack, and service on top of it. I mean, it's $150 repair at least, right? So we'll try that tomorrow. Retired judge was receiving an award from the city here last week, and two of his family members attended wearing pullover t-shirts and shorts. Oh, Russell, your ink's coming today. Good. There's a lot of ink. So we're gonna at least try to get these two pens done today. We'll get these guys done, and then maybe these can go home. They can get out of here, which will be good. And we got the Sheaffers that we started last week. We've got this one soaking. I was like, where is... I'm missing a... It's in the ultrasonic. All right, enough yapping. Enough yapping. I just get fired up. I get fired up when things are, like things that should make sense are not completely obvious to people. Don't... I mean, and it's an expensive place. It's definitely the most expensive place in town. And I don't want to get all snobby about it. But Canada Post is on strike again. Oh, well, I mean, they weren't really off strike, were they? They just didn't really agree, but they agreed to move mail. All right. And the and in good news, oh, hang on. Hi there. Thank you. You never get the same Amazon driver 2 times in a row. If it helps, you're offended by my restaurant experience too. Next time they need a no shirt, no shoes, no service sign at the door like a fast food. And I almost think they're like, I don't know if I finished this statement. I almost think the only reason they don't enforce a dress code policy is because they're worried they're not going to get people to come in. And they've just accepted the fact that people are going to come in and they're going to buy, they're going to buy their overpriced steaks, and they don't really care what they look like. The college town dress codes are very well. I mean, there's no college people going here though, right? I mean, I did think it was weird that there was like a family, father, mother, and like 2 young teenagers. Of course, on their phone the entire time. Like, who brings? I mean, you can't walk out of there without spending 250 bucks for 2 people. It's $100 a head, easy. Like, who brings? I don't understand who brings their kids there. But if they had a dress code, maybe they wouldn't have any business at all. That's the only thing I can think. Or it would be greatly reduced. It wouldn't be beneficial. They changed. They went to negotiations. The government changed the rules in favor of the employer. Man, that has been going on forever for you guys. That just really sucks. Put 2 people in a room and let them duke it out. You don't get to come out until you've come to an agreement. You went to some nice places growing up, but your brother and you were taught how to behave and dress. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the kids weren't obnoxious, and they didn't really detract from my dining experience per se. It was just, and maybe I should have. Lisa suggested that we move the date, and maybe we should have done that. But there's no excuse for uneducated servers. We used to go to this place. If any of you are familiar with Tampa, well, Lisa and I never went there, but I used to go to this place in Tampa called Burns Steakhouse, and it's the place. Um, we would go we'd go take clients there once a year when we had convention. Um, but the servers were required to go through a training process that took them, I forget what it was, 2 or 3 years before they could actually serve food. They had to learn everything. All right, now after all this, the stupid thing I can't blow through it. Where's mine? I'm not putting this thing together to find out it doesn't fill because the breather tube is stuck. Oh, come on. Canada Post is losing 10 million a day. All right, I seem to have lost my. A wire for running through. Oh, wait. There we go. But if you're ever in Tampa, Burn Steakhouse is the place to go. And actually, for years, I used to carry their business card. It was a weird, oversized business card in my wallet because it was just such a great place to go. And even after I moved away. But have you been there? Or are you familiar with it, Hans? Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. That's cool. We've both been there. Yeah, they have reportedly have a uh, a case of Napoleon's wine. And if you go there, you have to. There are certain times of the year. You have an old copy of their wine list. It's a 700-page hardcover book. Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite's wine. No, not that Napoleon. The Napoleon. Um, they have a wonderful floor that's just for dessert that has its own wine menu. But certain times of the year you can't, which you have to book separately. You know, if you're going to have wine or if you're going to have dessert, you have to book a reservation because it's on a different floor. So you finish your dinner and then you go up to, what is it, the second floor, I think. But there are certain times of the year that you can only get there if you're having dinner. But out of season, you can just call up and get reservations for the dessert room, which has its own separate wine menu. And I've been there probably, I mean, not a lot, maybe 3 or 4 times. But 3 or 4 times is is the right amount. No one's sending letters in Canada anymore? Then you got to start something up. All right. Good. That thing is. You would love to go back for a second time. You would need to start saving up now. Yeah, especially if you're going to enjoy the wine list. When we had Tampa Music Educators Convention, state convention there every year, we would go and company would pay for dinner. It was great, you know, and you'd take out your best clients there. And it was, you know, I mean, this was 20, I mean, I haven't been there since, I haven't been there in 25 years. But it was probably $1,000 dinner for sure. And you would definitely get grilled on that expense report when you got back to town. All right, let's get this done. Get these guys out of here. Right on the front page of the Burn Steakhouse website, please note our dining room dress code is business casual to semi-formal. If you are dressed in more relaxed attire, you may be seated in our lounge area instead of the main dining rooms. For more details on the dress code and full reservation policy, please visit our What to Expect section. Yeah, and their lounge area is very small. It's very small. It's very tight. It's very uncomfortable. If I'm not mistaken, it's right where the bar is actually. But I mean, like if you wanted to go and get a beverage, it's impossible to get in there because the place is always packed. That's all right. Lisa and I got. It gives us the opportunity. I take it as a blessing. We got the opportunity to look for um, different places. I don't think I mentioned. I was starting to mention. Then Amazon came. Um, I received today my Pelican Hub stuff, and it came directly from Germany. As was we were postulating that it was going to come direct from Germany with ChartPack no longer being a distributor. No, no bill, nothing. And really, very cute packaging this year. They really did it. They did it right. Um, and maybe I shouldn't spoil the surprise for anybody that's attending. I won't spoil the surprise. The really nice packaging. I guess the packaging is nice. I mean, y'all know what you're getting. It's a place called Governor's Restaurant that has several locations, famous for in-house desserts. They also sell full pies and other desserts. Wow, that's cool. That was the other thing too. Like they have a very limited dessert menu. I mean, there's like I don't think there's 6 things on the dessert menu, right? And one of them is like um, a sampler. And he kind of like this is like, well, what's on the sampler? Um, well, it's caramel. Oh. How would you define business casual? For me, that would be jeans with no holes and a shirt with buttons. Yeah, I mean, we really slipped our dress code here in the States for sure. I mean, that's probably how most people will see business casual now. I don't think that would be acceptable at Burns, though. I see it as business casual for me. I see as um, collared shirt, slacks, no jeans. Or if you're going to wear jeans, absolutely a sport coat. Yeah, yeah, I know. It's not what I wanted to hear from the waiter. I mean, there's like 6 things on the dessert menu. If you're gonna sell that shit, you ought to know what it is. All right, we're gonna try this new filling unit. It's got a black end to it, but we're not trying to replicate period correct, I guess. And socks and shoes. No flip-flops for business casual. Yeah. Business casual, no tie is what that means to me, you know. Oh, my pellet came loose. How many did I get? What did I get? What did I have? I already forgot what I was talking about. 4. There were 4 samples of creme brulee. That's what it was, creme brulee. It's pretty pathetic when you have to define you must wear shoes. Although in Florida, it's not always a given. Although when you walk into Burns, you know you're not in a normal restaurant. There's enough crushed velvet on the walls to make Elvis blush. I do want to mention that I did put up on our website today three new Esterbrook desk sets. 2 112s, those are the 8 balls, and a 114, which is the slender, sometimes called the telephone set. It's slender. That one has a green desk pen, and these are all lever fillers. And then there's a gray, actually technically it's a 116Q, if we're keeping tabs. And a really early 112 is really nice. If you're looking for a nice Esterbrook desk pen, it's got the early raised plastic ring. It has a bandless, it's black, and it has a bandless black with black taper early pen, R. Esterbrook and Company marked pen, so it's a little bit longer. That's not that long, but it's longer than the standard Model W. Those just went up today. They were supposed to go with the other ones, but the pictures weren't done in time. But I have two of those early 112s, which is quite unusual. You just don't find them. I was gonna say, where is my clutch ring? There it is. Oh, what's Pelican? We only had a couple dozen people sign up for Pelican Hub. I don't remember what we had last year, but it was more. Yeah, if it's a restaurant on the beach or resort that opens onto the ocean, that's a different story. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Was there a trimming missing from a pen Thursday? There was. Yes, there was. And so this group. So we put that back on. So yeah, these are all done. These are going to go up for sale actually. I don't know. I don't know if they'll make it this week. I hope they do. But we shall see. Yeah, in Florida, it's not a foregone conclusion. When you're next to a beach. The other thing I've noticed in the last few years, having gone down to Florida a couple times to visit Lisa's mom, is despite the fare being fresh, fresh fish, it doesn't necessarily make it cheaper. You just have access to fresh fish. You can't get grouper here in Wisconsin. But you can, but it's frozen but it's not cheap in Florida anymore. Well, like I say, it's been 25 years since I lived there, so maybe that's why Elvis has been hiding. That's where Elvis has been hiding. Yeah. Well, my hope is tomorrow that vinegar will get us some movement on this. It's just not cooking at all. Rube's in Iowa is your favorite steakhouse. If I ever go to Iowa, I will look them up. good. Clean this nib up here a little bit. It's a little crusty. And there were, and so in addition to those 3 new desk sets, a number of people had asked if there was an easy way to look at all the pens we had in for consignment. So there is actually a consignment category now under writing instruments, if y'all are interested in what's. I didn't think it really made a difference, but apparently some people want to see what is consignment and what's not. So. Oops, Steakhouse looks very nice. You'll save the name just in case you're ever in the area. You know, you might have to go through there to get to Appleton. Just saying. Probably not. I have no idea. I have no idea where it is. If we're going to meet at the Sheaffer Pen Museum. Did you all see the Sheaffer Pen Museum's got a new executive director? I think is what it was. I hope that means they'll be able to find more volunteers so that I could be open more. I did see that there was a post looking for volunteers to work, so that's a good sign. I need to get there sometime. It's just a matter of really finding the time to do it. And right now, I don't think I really have any time on the calendar until maybe end of June next year. And it might actually work out. Elisa's going on a trip. I guess that's around the same time as the St. Louis Pen Show. So maybe I could hit it on the way back. Got a little bit of a lilt to it here. Maybe we could go to the museum together, or you're welcome to visit here. I can promise you decent beer. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I would love that. Maybe we could have Mike join us and he could review the beer. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I miss Mike. I don't see him enough. And I don't think he goes to, he doesn't go to Ohio. All right, so I'm going to seal this. That nib looks pretty good. Should be placing an order later this week. Awesome. Thank you. All right, I'm going to clean up that hood. We did sort of test this guy already, but I'm going to test him again. There's just some marks on the hood. And we did this with the Demi last week. Any deal on shipping gratefully received? Yeah, like I always tell all my international customers, if they shipping is, I'll ship it in the best possible package, and if there's any discount on the shipping, I'll refund you the difference, but I can't guarantee it. Or if there's something in particular you're looking to buy, shoot me an email and I can give you a better idea in advance. You know, I've got kind of some basic rates on the website for international. And sometimes, you know, sometimes they cost more and sometimes they cost less. If they cost more, I eat it. If they cost less, then I'll refund you the difference. But I won't know until I know exactly what it is you're looking to get. And unfortunately, there's no good way to do, really no good way to do shipping. Um, because everything is different sizes, and the smaller the stuff, the cheaper it's going to be. If you order a bottle of Visconti ink and an A4 notepad, it's going to be expensive. If you order a bunch of sacks and repair supplies and things that I can put into a small box, I mean, I've had situations where I've been able to refund, $20. So it just all depends. And that live rate functionality that some websites have, it just doesn't work for what we sell. We tried it once a number of years ago, and it was just only a small order, but yeah, no big deal. I don't care how big the order is. I appreciate orders of any size. Oh, and before I forget, Hans, I found you a nib collar for a Yovo nib. But I only found one so far. I'm still looking. Let me know exactly how many you need. I've got some old Yovo nibs that I ground myself that I may just disassemble so I can give you the collars, because I'm never going to use the nibs, or if I do, if I can just pull them and put them in a different housing. But I got one for sure, because I had a bent Esterbrook Flex nib. I'm like, wow, I'm not going to use that. So I yanked it out. All right, that looks much nicer. Yeah. Fuzzy, how are you doing? So that Narwhal is selling just the innards of the Eclipse pen, so if someone wants a choice of nibs, they can switch them out. I don't really know much about Narwhal. I've got a couple of them on consignment, but that's as far as I go. All right. Those two are good. We'll try that tomorrow. We'll let those sections dry. We'll retest these tomorrow. That was the right writing sample for this guy, but we'll retest these two, and maybe we'll get this soaking. I might take it home and start soaking it there. Probably not. Probably not a good idea to mix business with pleasure, as they say. All right. Didn't get very far on these the other day, but then I was kind of pooped out by the end of the week, so. Ah. His feet has a crack in it. You know, I could probably shellac that together. It would probably stay. Clean this off, see if that would make a good enough seal. Expandable Feel like a short long. Surface should be rough from the brakes so you get a very solid joint. I think it will. I think it will. I think it'll probably hold out okay. As long as I don't get it everywhere. Epoxy would probably. I was just gonna say, if it's not a flex, I would think epoxy would hold. Epoxy would probably be a better solution here. All right, so I think we're gonna try epoxy. Of the poor choices for fixing ebonite, epoxy is the best of them. Yeah. The problem is there seems to be so many different sizes that micro applicator. Yeah, I don't. Do I have something smaller than a toothpick? You know what I could use? This will work. It's my. This is probably a piano wire, but it's thin enough to go through feeds. That should be good enough to. Yeah, this is a little stiffer than a violin string. Okay, first things first, I'm gonna turn on the lights here. Any tips on reviving a Parker 61 capillary, ammonia, dish soap, prayer? Yeah, the best bet is if you can get that stinking back end off. Yeah, miracle helps. If you can get the back end off, you can gently take the paper out, roll it out, and clean it. You know, your best bet short of that is to take a bulb syringe and cut it down. And then fill this up and then flush through it. But my problem is it still doesn't really get that paper clean enough to fill. Which is why you don't see any Parker 61s on my site right now. I know I keep saying this, but it's probably time I get new set of epoxy. But this inevitably comes through for me. If I'd have known I was going to use it today, I would have hold it upside down for a while, and it would gradually. This hardener is what's getting. I mean, I don't really need much. This is quick cure epoxy is what it's called. BSI ink. Distributed by BSI. Do I sell those trays? No, I do not. I wish I knew people were interested in it because I almost had an entire, I don't know how big my garbage can was. I filled up my garbage can full of them back in November, December. Just so many of them, I just couldn't. That's probably. Hope that's enough. All right. a pretty tight joint. You almost can't see the crack when you look at it. And it's pretty far down, so I think the chance of something happening is pretty minimal. I mean, it is literally the best case. Need to clean my stuff here. Best case scenario for that. Since it has a rod going through it, it should be mechanically stable. Yeah, it's. Not the easiest thing to use, that little piano wire, but it worked. Next time you need to reorder micro applicators, you'll buy me a pack. Set it over in my pile. Right? I've already got your pile started, so. All right, what else? What do we got going on here? You have 23 or 24 different balance feeds. I'm just reading that now. Yeah, nibs and sections on these things. Sometimes you really got to use what you got. We'll let that sit till tomorrow. All right, now this pen has been soaking all weekend. Tell you what, the nib is clean as all get out. We can turn this light off now. I think our possibility of getting this open is. As I recall, I could feel a little shifting, but it wasn't. There we go. These trays you see used to be, a lot of these were from Parker Waterman when you would buy pens. That's how they would ship them to you. Back in the day. Some manufacturers still do ship things in trays. You should see how Mont Blanc ships their pens. It would blow everybody's mind. Quick question, can iron gall ink be made from black walnuts? I saw someone take one this weekend. Their hands will be stained for a few days. Yeah. I hate those things. I hate those trees. I used to have them in the back of my house. They ruin my grass. You know, they get all over your shoes when you're mowing the lawn. I've heard people try to make iron gall ink out of it. In fact, I may have some ink that somebody made out of black walnut. I don't remember where it is. I know a local gentleman gave me some that he made. I don't know how good it is. But I dislike those trees greatly. Yeah, you get if you pick them up, because you know if you don't pick them up, they'll rot and then they'll kill your grass, and nothing will grow. But you got to wear gloves. In other words, you'll be sorry for a long time. Lisa and I joked that when we're ready to buy our next house. Well, of course, then and what happened was we got, we sold the house. We bought the new place. And I thought I was free of that nonsense. And come to find out, I didn't notice it until spring. There's black walnuts right behind my stinking house. But I told, we have a joke. It says, well, we've got all these things for the next house. The requirements, number of, bedrooms and baths and, number of garage stalls. But absolutely none whatsoever black walnut trees on any neighbor's property. Because all my last house, and I think it's the case here too. The black walnut trees are not on the property line; they're on somebody else's property, so you can't even cut them down. And the wood is desirable. I know a lot of wood makers, if it's good straight wood, the black walnut tree can be you can make some money. That'll pay for your mortgage, but You know, we had two black walnut trees, and they were on two different neighbors' properties. So the next house the deal is off, there's a black walnut tree. Especially if it's not on the property. Remember hearing something about the walnuts? Yeah. Yeah, I've got, I don't know where it is. We had some for a while. Probably better suited for dip pens. Than fountain pens, but people are crazy and they'll put anything in their fountain pens, so. Amazon's got a book making ink from walnuts. Oh. All right. You put anything in a preppy, they're great for experimenting. Yeah, yeah, you put it in a preppy. It's a perfect place for it. I think we tried this last time, but we're gonna try it again. Yep, came off. They don't have a decent log in them. They're not that valuable. Yard trees branch out quickly and usually are knotty. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a pretty straight, decent tree. Our neighbors had a. It was huge. It was a big monster, but it had a crack down the middle, and it branched out to two really big, um, forks or whatever. I don't know what they're called, but um, I was always afraid it was gonna break, and it was gonna crack, and the tree was gonna topple over in a bad storm, and it would have would have gone and hit my garage. Guess I don't have to worry about that anymore. But then they were going to hire somebody to cut it down. That was all about that. But they were cheap. And they didn't want to hire a real professional. They hired this one guy who was just going to climb up there, you know, with no supports, none of that safety stuff. And saw it down. And then apparently he had a heart attack. I know it's on your property, but I don't want a dude who just had a heart attack climbing a tree with a chainsaw with no support, trying to cut down this monster tree. Thankfully, they agreed that it was maybe a terrible idea, that they should just spend the money and get a tree company to come in and do it. A little better. Which means the inside of this is all inky. So I don't normally put these in, but we can spin it out. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got some ink in there. Oh, this was the Skyboy, that's right. What am I sipping? It's water. It's water. Nothing fun. My doctor has told me I need to reduce my soda consumption to 1 can a day. But, you know, I'm not happy about, but it is what it is, right? So I have 1 soda at noon with lunch, and then I drink water or lemonade the rest of the time. No, she didn't say anything about beer, so I'm gonna drop this in there. Mind you, Johnny Carson? Yeah. Well, I got I was cleaning things up today, and I had a box of miscellaneous stuff that used to be by my beer is food. It used to be by my ultrasonic, and it was, you know, pipettes and syringes and things like that. And then there was a coffee mug that said "Dad Joke Loading" on it, and so I got that out, and Lisa and I had the conversation about possibly getting a new coffee maker for the shop here. If the doctor doesn't specifically tell you not to do something, that means they endorse it. You know, I'm not going to ask, right? But when they said, how much soda did you drink? And I told them, and they said, you need to do one. One's your number. I'm like, okay. Yes, boss. One is the number. Drink more water. Less soda. You were told 0. I don't know if I could do that. I I need a sponsorship with Diet Mountain Dew because I need that mug during the intro for the Friday podcast. I think we had it on the old podcast at one point. I think Lisa was at TJ Maxx or something one time and she saw it there. And you make and drink a lot of unsweetened iced tea. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I suppose you get used to it, right? I mean, I would probably do lemonade. I suppose lemonade would probably be all right, maybe. I don't know. Well, I'm soaking those casts. Let's look at some sacks here. This one's pretty thin. That's actually too thick for that pen. That's too small for that one. I think we can probably do a 16 on that. Probably on that one too. That's better. 1, 2, 3. Of course, I suppose it's time to follow up with the old doc too. Of course, my doctor retired. I've had the same doctor for almost 20 years, and he retired this year. So I know that's never anybody's favorite thing when you had a doctor that long and then they retire on you. What'll be interesting though when I go back is my doctor was a huge Star Wars nerd. Like he had Star Wars stuff everywhere. You switched to doctors younger than you now? Is that a weird feeling? I'm starting to get the feeling that that's what's going to happen pretty soon. My doctors are going to be. younger than me. But he had, like the eye chart. The eye chart didn't start with E; it started with M. May the force be with you. I mean, all this goofy stuff. It is weird, yeah. I mean, I always liked my doctor because he was about the same age as me. Um, but he retired early so he could, play golf and travel the world. And I know for women it can be especially challenging because if your female doctor is younger than you, it's hard to discuss things that they don't have a grasp of, menopause and all that stuff. Um, so I guess I'll count my lucky stars, but it'll be weird because I'll go back and I would imagine he will have taken all of his Star Wars stuff. I mean, it was everywhere in every room, right? Puzzles, Legos, I mean, you name it. But he just retired like in June, so I don't know. Haven't had a need to go back, but I'm starting to get to the age where we start talking about your doctors. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? I don't know why I skipped this pen. Well, it just doesn't seem like that goes very far, but try a little talc on there and see if it's. Well, that's it. That's probably as far back as the J bar sits. All right. Well, this will be a good batch of user grade shapers. Well, this one finally came open. Yeah, user grade's nice. It's nice. I am looking forward to tomorrow, though. I am getting a package in the mail. With a nib to complete a pen that I just got. And I'm pretty stoked about it. So I will do that. The rare occasion that I repair a pen for myself on the stream. You have too many pens you'll never use. You appreciate half slipping less than perfect. You were going to include a nice bottle of Parker 51 in the ink, but you forgot? And you're apologizing? You don't want to play those games with me, my friend. I found a noodler's nib today. And for some reason, I didn't throw it out. I actually kept it. It was one of those replacement nibs he made. You have a noodler's safety pen on your desk that you're trying to fix. Why? You don't know? You do know. I know why you have that. And you have it for the same reason that I'm interested in that. It's it's interesting that somebody actually made a pretty good copy of more safety. But does it work? You know. You got it for free disassembled in a bag. Yeah, so it's a challenge. You'll fix it, and then you'll get rid of it. And it'll make somebody happy. You do love the demonstrator noodler safety pens you have. They actually demonstrate something useful. They made a safety in a demonstrator? I thought they were only ebonite. Or is this a different pen? Exclusive to the Boston show. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool then, I guess. 50 pieces clear and clear blue. Oh, interesting. I still don't want one. I'd rather have a broken more safety any day of the week. A modeled hard rubber more safety without a cap. I would rather have. I actually took the nib I had and I moved it over to directly above the garbage can, and I was about ready to release it, and I thought, no, it can go sit in this bag forever. And it went in my bag of semi-modern nibs. It's great when you talk filling systems. Yeah, I'd be interested to see it sometime. Apparently there was an Esterbrook nib in there. I wonder how long that's been in the ultrasonic. You put a more number 2 nib in the noodler safety? As long as it's not an American fountain pen company nib. There was a very short period of time where I thought I was going to collect more safeties. Very short. I decided it was a terrible idea. I should just for fun, I should get one and try to restore it on the stream one of these days. It's been a while. I'd probably have to. I remember I did a post on the disassembly of the more safety once. I probably have to reference. I'd have to reference my own material how to take it apart. It's that stupid disc in the back that's like that thin that you got to unscrew. There's got to be a better way to do it, but I haven't figured it out yet. I want one to restore. Just text you. I probably shouldn't be working on any projects. I can work on my own pen once in a while, but I probably should finish up all this crap that I just bought in the last couple of months. Wait for a customer to send one. I like the early ones with the American Fountain Pen Company nibs and the short caps. You don't see those short caps very often. A little loose, so we'll see. Be careful about it here. Random question: did you already send off that batch of vac filling Sheaffers? No, I did not. I did not send them off, and I am about probably this evening. I've got some replacement belts for my lathe are going to be ordered. But in true Brian fashion, they are taking up space and getting in the way on another table that is not my repair bench. By the end of October, you may be up for doing them if your test pens go well, or you can do them yourself. Yeah, I might. We'll see. We'll see how this lathe project is going to work. It's I'm going to try not. I have to stare at it every day now. It's no longer on a shelf in the basement or in a box in the basement. It's in eyesight. So I'm gonna get the belts. Should get a dust cover for it. There's all, yeah, and I want to get that stop button for it too. But I'm probably not going to do much with it until November, December. At least it seems to be like there's a lot of stuff I need to do. There's a lot of stuff I need to get, and I've got to save up for Columbus show coming up in 4 weeks, right? And I got a repair for the car I got to take care of, which is not cheap. So we're trying to save up the money for that. This is really, really inky. I think I'm going to put it in the Dr. G's here, and we'll see what happens. It just, see if I can get those threads any cleaner. But I do a couple small things here and there to get it ready. Clean it up, re-grease it, read the manual. That was made in like 1964. 54, I don't know. It was made a long time ago. I'm actually going to ask, I've got a customer who's, I think, would probably be very well versed in lathes. I'm going to ask him for some help at the next time I see him. So yeah, I mean, I think if I could get someone who knows what they're doing, like in 30 minutes, I think we could be light years ahead of what it would take me in 3 hours or 4 hours and countless YouTube videos and that kind of stuff. I mean, I last used a lathe. It was a wood lathe, and it was like, what did I say there? 30, 35, 36 years ago. So it's been a while. Been a hot minute. Those are good. Well, I can blow through this, so that's good. We're just going to let that sit for another day. We'll come back to it tomorrow before we try to reassemble it. Let it fully cure. $6 it's been in there. I don't know that this did any difference on the threads, but It sure looks a lot better than it did at the start of the day. Still getting some purple, but it's much less. Well, I take that back. Oops. Well, I wonder what color ink that was. Purple? I mean, I wonder what ink it was. Obviously, it's purple, but I might need some fresh Dr. G's on this. See you next time, Fuzzy. Thanks for tuning in. Do Parker 45 section interiors ever clean thoroughly? Yeah, it's next to impossible to get the inner feed out. Obviously, you can get the feed out that's attached to the nib, but that interior part is really a challenge to get out. But I've never had a problem cleaning one to the point where it doesn't, it won't fill or expel water. Carter's Tulip Purple. You think so? Back when I was donating plasma, and I don't really do that much anymore. I remember spending one whole session reading about disassembling 45 sections. And apparently on some, if you use the right converter and it's loose enough, you can actually pull it out of the inside of the section, but I don't think they weren't meant to be disassembled. Yeah, you can unscrew the nib unit and then the feed comes out, but the part that the feed and the nib unit goes into, that black part on the inside does come out apparently. You can get it out. I personally would not try it unless you got a pen that you don't care what happens to it, because I mean, they're in there snug as a bug in a rug. 423. All right. Yeah, ultrasonic definitely helps. Ultrasonic helps. All right. So tomorrow we'll be able to test these. We'll test those 251s. We'll put this together. We'll sack that. Should be good to go tomorrow. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's just get these done. This is a random hodgepodge of stuff. What is this, and why is this in my... Oh, well, okay. It's like, oh, a Parker 21. Why is this in here? Well, because it doesn't have a crack in the hood? No, it's got a crack in the barrel. Right there. Where did I get this? Oh, I know where I got this. I might actually have a barrel for this. If there's no crack in the hood, I might actually be able to fix that. '51 with the bad cap. We'll skip that. Well, speak of the devil, here's a '61. Maybe I just need to sell these as you clean them out and they don't hold much. We just call it what it is. All right, we'll do this one. This one's just a cartridge converter. That one's ready to go. This is a serious hodgepodge of stuff, isn't it? All right, let's see. Well, that doesn't have a nib. Is the arrow there? Yeah, the arrow's there. Oh, let's do this one. Why not? Let's hit the gamut here. We got a dual fold, we got a 51, we got a Skyline, another Eversharp, a Sheaffer. You're not even cool enough to send you a Parker 21, so you can't blame me? Yeah. You're a good friend. I know it. So this is a mishmash of pens that I've bought over the preceding months. We'll start the disassembly anyway. You had a collectible fountain pens catalog, 11th printing by Glenn Bowen arrive today. Most of that vintage stuff is really priceless. Mm. I need every tool in the house for this group of pens. Of course, even if I get these done, I can't even tell you. This is going to be 3 months, 4 months before these are actually ever even on the website. Sheaffer's, they only showed the white dot ones. That's the black and white book, right? It's pretty thick, but it's black and white. Everything, it's got all the ads and stuff in it. I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. Yeah. Any book you can get is usually worth getting. Until Cardinal Pens and Ink publishes a 4-volume series on Sheaffer pens. Are you helping? Do I hear a volunteer? I'm not publishing any book until I publish. You're out of town that week. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. I'm not publishing any book until I publish an Esterbrook book. And then we can talk. When I heard there was a new book coming, and I thought, wow, that was my opportunity. But the book came out, and I was like, well, there's still an opportunity here. Mm. You were the editor of a vinyl records book that was reprinted word for word from the original town clerk's records. So we've got another volunteer. I can't tell if this is moving or just the tool's moving. This is really pretty deeply set. It's going to be the one case. And normally I don't use this tool for vacs unless I've got, the 43, 44 models with the black filler. Because that plastic housing has a tendency of binding up. But if I really need to get extra grip, I'll use this one. It's not as nice and ergonomic as the vac extractor, but I'm getting some movement. I think it is moving. This tool usually doesn't slip once it's tightened down around the filler housing. So you can see I've got a little bit of a gap here now. You can see that black there. At least with that pen book, you can collect the white dot Sheaffers. I've not looked at what it has for Parkers and others in the book yet. If I'm not mistaken, that also has prices in there too, which are completely ridiculous. What was the printing of that book? 83, 84, something like that? 85? $82. Okay. Oh, close. Mm. Mm. 11th printing was 92. Wow. You need to see if you have a copy. You should see what he says about Sheaffer. I'd be surprised if you don't have a copy. I'm not going to be able to grip anything after today. Glenn has so much pen experience. Is quite an interesting guy. He told me 5 or 6 years ago that he might write a new book. But you think he got busy with other things? The inks you got for me today keep you busy later this evening, entering them into the Fountain Pen Companion program. I like the new Sheaffer inks. They're nice. In fact, I just got restock of green in today. Something's moving, but I just don't know if it's. Go back to this. Only because it's marginally easier to grip. I hope the hood's easier to get off than the filling unit. You checked in to see the difference between Sheaffer and Sheaffer script. Yeah, it's just a marketing thing. The latest Sheaffer ink cardboard box is different the way it opens. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan. I'm sure it was probably cheaper, but then you've got that silly little sticker on the side of the box. I think the new one is called Script. Actually, I don't recall. It's on my shelf. I have to go check. I think it's Script though. Yeah, the sticker just, like, if I need to open something up to take a picture, it just messes with the whole. The whole packaging gets all gunked up. Is it like those wretched plastic seals in some black ink boxes? I don't even remember. Oh yeah, on the like on the side or something, so that it doesn't slip open. All it does is just serve to tear the cardboard. I don't know if this thing's going to get open. I'm going to go back to the wrench here, the block. The new Sheaffer inks are coming in boxes marked "Made in India." This is the toughest 51 I've had to open in a long time. I do think it's finally coming. This better be the most awesome writing 51 ever. I can see why Crazy Alan wanted to get rid of it. Hmm. Yeah, it's coming. Hmm. Makes day number 3 that USPS has only delivered packages, and there has to be 2 envelopes delivered on. There were to be 2 envelopes delivered on Friday. The mailman said only packages he's delivering today. That's weird. He must have informed delivery or something. The 51 came from an old collection assembled in the 80s. I want to know what was in the rest of the collection. That must have been fun to look at. It's slowly coming out, but holy cow. It's out a couple millimeters now, so it's coming, but it's there we go. Mm. Uh-oh. The whole thing came out. Oh, just a dozen or so of these semester books, a few Pelicans. Holy moly. My hand is, by comparison, is all red. Bet you they use the same stinking solution. It's my 51. I may have to soak this. Or $50, they used the same adhesive on the hood as they did on the filling unit. Oh. Well, I think what we're going to try, we're going to soak it. And I'll run some water down the back here. A couple of minutes, yeah. I'll see if I can get something else successfully open. You saw 209 the other day that is used for cleaning the ink channel on the nib feed and section cells for $65. Wouldn't the feed clean with the brush and a shim? Yeah, that would probably do a pretty good job. I use a razor blade. Oh, look at that. That one's actually got a sack in it. This one I'm terribly interested in. I have no idea how this section comes apart. Probably should be friction fit. Not threaded, but do I need to remove the section or just replace the bulb? Yeah, I mean, I thought about that, but the only thing I don't know is it's definitely not one piece. Maybe we'll just soak this with together. Ooh, this will go over it. See how well it soaks it up. Sucks it up. Is that a Sheaffer Imperial? It's a cartridge, yeah, cartridge Imperial. All right, well, we'll put it in the ultrasonic, maybe help clean out the feet a little bit, but it literally just, yeah, I think we got whatever ink was in there is out now. Uh, it was clear. All right, last but not least, let's see if we can get this open, and then I gotta run. Yeah, it's pretty good flow. I mean, if it was able to suck back up water and fill the bulb, yeah, I think it's probably where I think we're just going to leave it. I'll have it in the ultrasonic overnight. Boom. Does the ultrasonic get hot while running? Yeah, it can if you run it a long time. And particularly if you run it in a room that doesn't have air conditioning or isn't cool. So you do have to be mindful of that. Most of your small household ultrasonics, you know, they stop running after at the most 8 minutes. You don't really have to worry too much. But you do have to be cognizant of it. You got a Belmont with the dried sacks cemented in the lever. After soaking, I used penetrating oil. It softened up quickly. Interesting. This is really best case scenario. When it comes out, it's all dry and hardened like this. It just comes out in pieces, and as long as it's not the gizmo I just used looks medieval. This guy. Some penetrating oils have solvents in them. Be careful on plastic. Yeah. Yeah, this is a very, very handy tool. I'm fortunate that Lisa and I have the same philosophy of gotta go. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Absolutely, absolutely juicy. See you tomorrow. They have the same philosophy on tools. Because I never would have found another one of these. All right. Okay, so tomorrow I'm not gonna bother putting them in the ultrasonic tonight since I'm not gonna be able to monitor them. Oh, my hand is sore though. Holy cow. I am gonna soak this. Throw a little water in the back end of it. All right, so what do we got for tomorrow? We got this fun mixed batch of stuff. Where did I get some of this stuff? I don't know, who knows? We'll test these guys, put this guy back together and see if that feed holds up. And we got to test these two 51s. And we're going to look at that. I'm going to soak that probably in the morning. I'll start soaking this snorkel barrel in. I'm going to put vinegar inside. And we'll see if that's enough to dissolve or at least break up the spring, which is probably causing it to not open. And that doesn't work, then I got nothing. Because it's just, I'm tired of looking at it. So, and the extreme measures didn't work, so we're going to try that last thing. And after that, I don't really want to try Sheaffer's method of gasoline. I think that's just a bad idea all around. Maybe I could do it out on the back, the back porch here. But that's just not a good idea. So we'll see. I'm positive the vinegar will have some positive effect on it. It has worked for me in the past in taking care of rust quite nicely. So we'll see if it'll do it again. So, in other words, that's all I got for you now. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you all have a good evening. Hans, you have a great evening. Have a great morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And be kind, be well, and we'll catch you tomorrow, all right? Take care, everyone. Bye now.